Why are Bitcoin critics from 2017 suddenly going silent about their biggest complaint? The answer lies in a technology that's been quietly maturing over the last 5 years. Today we're joined by Tuur Demeester, a veteran Bitcoin researcher and investor who has been studying cryptocurrency markets since 2012. Tuur's insights have helped shape how we think about Bitcoin's evolution from a technical experiment to a maturing financial network. We'll explore 3 key developments: how Lightning Network solved Bitcoin's biggest historical criticism, what changed in Bitcoin's infrastructure that's attracting serious investors, and why this technological shift makes previous arguments against Bitcoin obsolete. Before we continue, if you enjoy these breakdowns, hit the like and subscribe button for more TFTC content. Full episode linked below. In this first clip from the TFTC podcast, let's examine how Bitcoin's initial limitations led to widespread criticism and what's changed since then.
One thing I've been having a lot of conversations, and whether it's Bitcoin's inability to materialize as a fully monetized store of value medium of exchange off the bat over the last 15 years, people typically look at Bitcoin, they say, oh, well, it's not a good store of value. Look at the volatility. It's not a good medium of exchange. Look at how expensive it is on chain and how few transactions you can do. And then similarly with the Lightning Network, launched 5 years ago, and people wanted it to do what it was marketing it could do out of the box. But 5 years in, for Lightning particularly, it seems like we've gotten to the point of maturation where there's good dev tools to build on.
Bitcoin faced heavy criticism in its early days, especially around 2017, because it couldn't immediately function as everyday money. Critics were quick to point out 2 main issues. Bitcoin's price was too volatile to be a reliable store of value, and the network could only handle a few transactions at a time, making it expensive and slow to use. This was a valid concern. Imagine trying to buy coffee with a payment system that could only process 7 transactions per second worldwide. The Lightning Network was introduced as a solution, but like any new technology, it wasn't perfect at launch. Critics used these early limitations to dismiss Bitcoin entirely. However, what they failed to understand was that building reliable financial infrastructure takes time. At my venture capital firm 1031, we recognized that these limitations were temporary, and what we've witnessed since then has been remarkable. The Lightning Network has evolved from a promising concept into a robust, practical solution. This evolution mirrors other revolutionary technologies like the internet. What started as a basic communication protocol eventually developed into the backbone of modern digital life. The key difference is that Bitcoin's development has been much faster, compressing decades of financial innovation into just a few years. The infrastructure challenges that seemed insurmountable in 2017 are now being systematically solved through careful engineering and real-world testing. In the next clip, we'll explore how this maturing infrastructure is creating unprecedented opportunities for businesses.
There's a robust implementation environment that people can choose from, and it's getting easier and easier to implement Lightning into commercial applications, whatever it may be. And I think this just highlights the fact that we're building many different cathedrals here with Bitcoin and the layers on top of it, and it's just going to take time and effort. And I think what I've been having conversations and pitching Bitcoin to people, like in my mind, this is the best time ever from a risk-adjusted perspective to get into Bitcoin due to the maturation of everything that's going on at the protocol level.
The maturation of Bitcoin's infrastructure isn't just about fixing old problems. It's about opening new possibilities. We're now seeing something remarkable. Businesses can implement Lightning Network technology with relative ease, similar to how websites integrated payment processing in the early days of e-commerce. This technical progress directly addresses the concerns serious investors had about Bitcoin's scalability. The risk profile has dramatically improved because we're no longer dealing with theoretical solutions, and we have proven working infrastructure. This shift is particularly significant because it shows how Bitcoin is following the same development pattern as other transformative technologies. First, the foundation is built, then the tools are created, and finally, practical applications emerge. What's especially interesting is how this development cycle has created a feedback loop. As the infrastructure becomes more robust, it attracts more developers who then create better tools, which in turn makes the system more attractive to businesses and investors. This virtuous cycle is similar to what we saw with internet protocols in the 1990s, but with one crucial difference: Bitcoin's open source nature means innovations can be implemented and tested much more rapidly. The result is an acceleration of development that's unprecedented in financial technology. Next, We'll hear how this technological progress is directly addressing one of Bitcoin's biggest criticisms.
It debunks the idea that somehow Bitcoin is elitist, right? It's like, oh, you can only do 3 transactions per second, therefore, or like, however high the fees would be, people would use that as being like, oh, fees are $2, like it's only for the elites. And so with Lightning, you could say, well, no, right? I mean, it's ready, regardless of whether and how much people are going to use Lightning in the next cycle. Just the fact that it's there and you can figure it out if you want to, I think is super powerful, because a lot of the coins that were created in the 2017 cycle were just riding on that FUD wave of like, oh, Bitcoin, it has too few transactions. And look at our coin, we have 100 transactions per second.
Here's where we get to the heart of why 2017's critics have gone quiet. Their primary argument was that Bitcoin would always be limited to a small, wealthy user base due to high transaction fees and limited capacity. The Lightning Network has completely dismantled this criticism. Think of it like adding express lanes to a congested highway. Suddenly, traffic flows smoothly and costs drop dramatically. This development is particularly important because it shows how Bitcoin can achieve mass adoption without sacrificing its core principles. The infrastructure has evolved to handle everyday transactions while maintaining the security and decentralization that make Bitcoin valuable in the first place. What's truly revolutionary about this development is how it solves the scalability trilemma, the traditional trade-off between decentralization, security, and scalability. Previous attempts to solve this problem typically sacrifice one of these aspects, but Lightning Network manages to preserve all 3 by building a secure, scalable layer on top of Bitcoin's decentralized base layer. This technological breakthrough isn't just impressive from an engineering standpoint, it's fundamentally changing how we think about digital money and its potential applications. Up next, we'll explore a fascinating example of how this mature infrastructure is enabling entirely new use cases that were previously impossible.
Going back to like ideas whose time have come and actually make sense now, like the whole idea behind 21Co was the machine payable web, like enabling machine-to-machine payments via microtransactions, and they found out the hard way that probably doesn't work at the protocol level. You can't do that with UTXOs. But now that Lightning exists, like that idea is a very good idea. It just wasn't viable in 2015, 2016. Now with Lightning and what we're seeing coming out of the AI for All hackathon, which is going on right now, led by Fetty and Replit and a bunch of others, like I think it's becoming very obvious, like, oh, this was a great idea. And not until now was it actually viable.
The transformation of Bitcoin's infrastructure becomes crystal clear when we look at what's now possible compared to just a few years ago. In 2015, the idea of machines automatically making tiny payments to each other using Bitcoin was just a dream. The technology simply wasn't ready. Fast forward to today, and we're seeing artificial intelligence applications using Lightning Network for exactly this purpose. This isn't just a technical achievement. It represents a fundamental shift in what's possible with Bitcoin. The same infrastructure that makes these machine-to-machine payments possible also enables everyday transactions, high-frequency trading, and large-scale commercial applications. This is why serious investors are taking notice. Bitcoin's infrastructure has matured to the point where it can support real-world applications that were previously impossible. What's particularly exciting about this development is its timing. As artificial intelligence and automation become increasingly important in our economy, Bitcoin's Lightning Network provides the perfect infrastructure for handling the complex web of micropayments these systems will require. This convergence of technologies could lead to entirely new business models and economic systems that we're only beginning to imagine. The ability to program money at this granular level, combined with the security and decentralization of Bitcoin, creates possibilities that simply didn't exist in traditional financial systems. What do you think about Lightning Network's potential impact on Bitcoin adoption? Let me know in the comments. I read every single one. And if you found Bitcoin's infrastructure development interesting, you'll want to watch our breakdown of why Bitcoin's famous 4-year cycle might be dead. Click the video on your screen now. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more daily content. Thanks for watching. Stay humble, stack sats.